All right, team. Quick video time here, kind of at the end of the close here for the day for mortgage bonds. We had some scary times. Some scary days. Today, there was a massive transfer of wealth from the impatient to the patient, or as we would say, from the regular retail guys, the you and me's, to the suits. It was a huge shakeout today. Shook the tree. See who was committed to their investments in the stock market today. And this has been the theme lately. You've noticed, and I'll show you the charts here in a second, that the market opens low, getting crushed. And some different securities today got absolutely massacred, but mortgage bonds was not one of them. In fact, I have some potentially really big news, which is why the title of this video is Rebound in Mortgage Rates, ? Let's take a look at the footage. Now, I am a one-man band, so give me a second here to kind of get this squared away. Actually, we can leave that guy in there. All right, Derrick Evans, VA Home Loan Specialist, NMLS 155010. Let's get all that stuff out of the way. And let's just look at the reality here of what's going on. We've seen, and I'm going to use Barry's tool. This is Barry Habib's website, mbshighway.com, where I'm a subscriber. Anyone who wants to take themselves seriously in the mortgage world is a subscriber. And what you've got here is, these are daily candlesticks of mortgage bond trading. Remember, when mortgage bonds go down, that means that interest rates go up. So that's an important characteristic to recall. Okay, and I try to put this together every time and let everybody know in case you haven't seen a video before. So when these prices go down, mortgage rates go up, and look at what we've seen. Let's use the eraser tool. Let's see how good this is, Barry. Oh yeah, look at that. Not bad, sir. Well done. So if we look at the trend has not been good in recent days. This is the last month and a half right here. Prices have been going down. Mortgage rates have been going up. When will it end was the question. A couple days ago on Sunday night, I believe it was Sunday. Maybe it was Monday morning. I can't remember. No, it was Monday morning, first thing. I made a video and I said, this is getting out of control. I don't know what to do, but bonds are getting rushed. And we didn't see really anything that was going to help make that stop. There was no saving grace. Bonds just aren't a sexy investment. Do you have any bonds? Are you buying bonds right now? I'm not. Who's buying bonds? People who are really scared, people who want very safe and small returns. Who wants that in this environment when everything's going crazy? I didn't even look at Bitcoin today, although I know it took a little bit of a bath earlier in the day. So, everything's going up. Everything's going up and going up like crazy. Who wants bonds? Clearly nobody, except for the Federal Reserve, who did say that they would essentially buy as many bonds as are needed. We'll buy as many as it takes. Who cares? We have a blank check, basically. We make the money. The people who make the money are telling you what they're going to do. Usually they do it and it works out. And it just wasn't happening here. You see how many days did they had us in suspense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 business days of hell if you are someone who has loans which need to be locked. And that's what we've been put through here in the mortgage world, just FYI. And we just hadn't seen a bright spot until today. Thank the Lord. We have a very bullish signal here in this final candlestick, the bottom right. I know it's hard to see, and the problem is if I try to zoom in any further, it just gets weird. It's hard to see down here, but that is a really good sign. The long wick at the bottom, and we closed near the high of the days. This is typically a turnaround signal. This signal usually means market's ready to reverse, sellers are exhausted, buyers have entered, because you see it at intraday, we were down here, and it was not good. We actually broke this level of support intraday, and I thought that the terrible sell-off would commence and continue, and this would become resistance again, and we would have even worse situation. I did lock a lot of loans early Monday before things got too bad, but it just kept getting worse. Last week I locked everything I could up here in these days, kept getting worse. Now we have a really good signal. So what happened though? Let's just take a quick look at the Dow. This is just today in the Dow. And when I mean by massive transfer of wealth that took place today from the little guys to the big guys, from the retail traders to the suits, What happened? Tons and tons of stocks were absolutely murdered today. But it didn't last for all of them for the whole day. But look at this pattern. And this is kind of a typical Dow pattern. There's ups and downs throughout the day. It always has at least a 100-point swing from high to low, always. If there's a trading range, sometimes it's just straight up for a day or just straight down. But when there's back and forth, there's always 100 points. Today was, the high was 31,650, and the low here was somewhere around 31,160. So, you see there's almost 500 points. I mean, it's huge. It's a massive difference. So things are kind of all over the place here. But what you look at what happened here, the market just sold off hard to begin the day. Shake the tree. Let's scare them. And they moved all kinds of money against certain stocks and beat them down. Why? So that the retail guys would sell and hand their shares over to the big boys. That's what happened today in the stock market. Massive transfer of wealth from the impatient to the patient. That is what happened today. The good news is, I think maybe it's because the bad guys are getting their way now. I don't know. But the turnaround in bonds appears to be upon us. So why am I telling you this? I'm not just going to tell you when things are bad. I'm going to tell you when things are looking up. They're looking up. We're not there yet. We only gained 11 basis points today. It's not much. We've lost hundreds of basis points from the top. I mean, literally 300 basis points. So 11 is not that much. But the formation in the chart here is good. It looks really good. I feel good about it. I feel good about what happened today. I think this could be the beginning of the turnaround. And I'm expecting us to pick up some nice ground here. So we should have a better opportunity to lock in the next, let's call it 5 or 6 business days. So if you just got into a purchase contract, if you're looking for an opportunity, if you're waiting, some people may be able to float down. There could be some good things coming up. If you're waiting on a refi to lock, that opportunity could come up in the next 7 to 10 days, let's say. If refi, you have a little bit more time. Maybe you could wait it out a little bit further depending upon how things look. But rates now have shown us an important thing. Rates have shown us today that basically they own us. We have to pay attention to them. We can't just sit here and assume that rates are going to be low forever. We just can't make that assumption. We can't just assume that, oh yeah, we'll always have 2.5, 2.25, 2.75. That's how quickly it can go away. In 7 business days, we're all scrambling. So it can go away very quickly. So the lesson that I want everyone to learn from this, which I've unfortunately learned many times in the past decade, let's say, and I've started doing this 20 years ago, rates can get worse. They get worse much more quickly. Let me rephrase that. Rates go down much more quickly than they go up. I said it wrong again. Rates go up much more quickly than they go down. When they go up, when bonds go down, that can happen very quickly. But for rates to go down, it takes a little more time. So rates can spike up very fast. Just a few days. Market shifts. But then for rates to go down, it takes a little bit of time. So we're going to have to see this happen over the course of the next several days. We're not going to see, even if bonds traded up 200 basis points tomorrow, banks aren't going to go ahead and price that in right away. Why would they? They're not going to price that in immediately. They're going to slowly inch towards where the market is, because they have to protect themselves, right? They can't just give it to you immediately. That's not how it works. So let's hope for some days in the green. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. I'm going to call the bottom right now. So this is not the ideal time to lock. If you have to, like I had to lock a loan today for extemporaneous reasons I won't go into. But if you don't have to, now's not a great time. I do think there will be better days coming up, both for refinances and for purchases. I also think that we should be listening and following Michael Burry right now. This is the guy who called the crash, right? Remember the guy who they made the movie The Big Short about? It's played by Christian Bale. That guy, his name is Michael Burry, and you can follow him on Twitter. It's Michael J. Burry, at Michael J. Burry, Burry. Follow him, listen to him. He is talking about Bitcoin. He's talking about some of the different things that are markets that have bubbles being built in them. We do not believe that there is a bubble in real estate. We do not believe that there is a bubble in stocks, although people are starting to become more reports, are starting to become more research that is showing that certain things could be overvalued to the extent that they might be called a bubble. I think what we're seeing in real estate across the nation is just a realization of what has always been true in a game that's mostly just been played by people who are wealthy. And now everybody wants to play the game, and they should be. The same thing is happening in stocks, but you know what the problem with stocks are? And I feel bad for some of my friends I know that are going to get smoked. The problem with stocks is that you can get in and out of them too quickly. If you don't like the way things are with your house, you don't just go sell it in a day. It's a big decision. It's something where you're committed to it. You're with it for a long period of time. You buy it for the idea of having it for a long period of time. It's something that you live in. Or if it's a rental property, it's something that someone else lives in. Either way, you can't just trade it and get in and out of it. That's the danger with stocks. I am personally going to be, and I have already liquidated a bunch of stocks, but I will be shifting that into real estate investments. I highly recommend those of you who have done well and you have some big profits in stocks, peel some of that off. Just peel off a little bit for yourself. Peel off a little bit. Whether it's 10%, 20%, 50%, whatever. Peel off some of that and get into a good, solid real estate investment. I have several good videos here that I plan on making in the near future. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, talk about different real estate investment strategies. Some people want to know, what do I do if I don't only have $1,000 to invest? How do I get in? And there's some securities that you can use that are pretty solid for that. I will go through my stock investment strategy too at some point. And those are all things that people are looking at. How do I rotate my money around? Where is it best to stick money right now if I've done well? Hey, I've sold a property, I've made a bunch of money. Hey, my stocks are way up. What do I do? Where do I put it? What's the thing that makes the most sense? And it may be a different answer for everyone, but at the same time, these are things you need to be thinking about. Don't get caught off guard. Don't be on your heels one day going, oh man, what happened? I just got punched. Oh, I need to push buttons and sell stuff and do this. Don't be there. Be in a position where you know what you have, you're ready, okay, for worst case scenario. And if you're way up on some stuff, peel it back. This is one of the reasons why, although I will almost never tell you sell your real estate, because ideally you never sell it. But for people who are moving up, you're selling one home or you're moving up from one house to the next, this is one of those markets where it kind of makes sense to go ahead and sell that house that you're currently living in, go south, pocket some money, put some in your pocket and put some towards the next home. And the only reason that I recommend that right now, because you're buying in this market, which is a hot market, you have the opportunity to swap out. You bought prior when it was not as much a seller's market. You can make some money on that one and shift to the next one. If you keep both houses and things go poorly at some point, you could have yourself in a really difficult situation. Let's say you keep both houses. One, you have a renter in, the renter stops paying rent, you lose your job. Boom, you might lose both houses. So if you can go south with the money, you can give yourself a lot more options. So only recommending that right now for people who don't have really long-term goals to own real estate. They're just keeping it because you don't want to let it go yet. You know it's going up in value. If that's you, consider doing that. It's a safer strategy. It's a more conservative strategy. It's a more diverse strategy. But ideally, we never sell real estate. Ideally, you never do it. But in this one case, I will say it may make sense because the market is so hot that you can pretty much name your terms as a seller right now. It's totally, totally nuts. All right. If you have questions about VA loans, if you have people who want white glove service, veterans who are buying a house or refinancing, have them give me a call, shoot me a text. I'd love to help them. Hopefully this is helpful. I hope I have more good news coming in the days to come, but I will keep you updated as what's going on as the market is starting to move now. And we have to be prepared for potential shifts, not just in rates, but in everything that's going on in every aspect of the financial markets. Things are changing. Things are going on. Macro things are changing. So we got to keep our ear to the ground. I'll do my best to disseminate that information to you as often as I can. I got to get back to work. Share this video with your friends, and I will see you again soon.